INSEAD is actually working hard to get people into this industry. So I remember the year I was in Fontainebleau, the school actually invited several companies in this industry to have a forum in Fontainebleau.
Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Roll Call, where we help you answer your questions on all things MBA, career and life. So let us know what's your question.
We have to admit, it was a challenge to finalize the questions for our guest today. We kept adding and deleting questions to come up with a list that could maximize the value our audience would get. But more importantly, we needed the right questions that would do justice to the exemplary knowledge and experience our guest today has.
Our guest's work experience in the luxury and retail sector spans over 10 years, starting with a bachelor's in fashion and textile. She went on to work in leading global brands such as Esprit, Ralph Lauren, VF Corporation, and my personal favorite, Burberry. Finally, last year she completed her MBA at INSEAD.
We're very excited to have Cici Zhang with us here today. Cici, it's wonderful to have you on Roll Call.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be working with you too today. I'm so happy to join you this session, and I'm happy to contribute to the community if possible. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you guys all.
Cici, thank you so much. Now for this video, we are shaking things up. Before we jump into the questions for you, Cici, we would love it if you could clear the air around some of the myths about the luxury and retail sector in this section we are calling Rumour Has It.
But before we go ahead, a disclaimer, these myths do not in any way match our personal sentiments about the sector. These are based on some unfortunate stereotypes we hear from our friends.
So let's dive in. People who work in the retail and luxury sector are all born fashionistas.
Wow, this is partially true, but not 100% true. Because as an industry, you know that we have different functions, say logistics, say tech people, IT, or CRM, marketing person, people work in the stores. So based on different functions, the fashion sense you need to have to work in that section or function is different. For some people, they do not need to acquire a deep understanding or a diploma in this industry or a sort of fashion sense at all. But you will gain this kind of sense during the years you work in this industry. So it's not a must-have item before you join this industry. But of course, if you have, that's the big plus on your profile. For people who would work with the final products, say you work in the store, a salesperson, or you work with the products, it's like me, I'm working with the products every day. I have to plan and distribute the products. Then fashion sense is very important, because if you don't have this kind of sense, you have no idea how to proceed with your work. First, in the product selection stage, you have a big difficulty, right? But I would not say if any person from a different industry who are interested to join this industry, if you don't have a fashion sense at all, you have no chance. This is not true.
Perfect.
Second one, people who work in the retail and luxury sector are fake and don't work hard enough.
First, let's talk about being fake. This actually, this is a rumor that I heard most when I'm working in this industry, because I have engineer friends. I have friends who are working in tech, and they hold this stereotype that people working in this industry is fake. I would say, okay, first look at me. Am I fake to you? Right? How to define fake? So people define fake as you talk about something and you don't truly believe it, and you behave in another way. and this is fake, right? I would say people working in fashion industry is more uh, likely to dress themselves to be fancier than other industries, but this is not related to your personal identity. This would not affect your character too. And the most important thing is your personal traits, like whether you are reliable, whether you are genuine to your friends, whether you are a good fellow to work with. These kind of traits wouldn't be affected by what you wear and what you like.
Yes, absolutely. So the third myth, the pandemic has deeply impacted the luxury sector as purchasing power has dropped.
It is partially true. Because of the pandemic, everybody know that the retail industry was impacted severely, and you can see some of brands are closing stores. Some of the companies are reported negative growth this year. So it is common in the industry. And while it's not purely for RCLG industry, right? It's actually for many industries. So the purchasing power is declining. That is true, but I believe it's only a short period of time. The economy will be bouncing back after a certain period of time. We cannot estimate how long it's gonna last, but I truly have confidence that it will be bouncing back, but it's gonna take us a few years, maybe. Regarding the purchasing power, I would say you need to actually separate people from different industries or different income levels. First, for the richest people, their purchasing power is not affected much. Say I'm now living in China, and I see that people queuing up before luxury brands at the moment. Seriously, there is a long queue in front of LV, MS, Chanel, and if you see this kind of picture, you wouldn't say, "Wow, purchasing power is dropping." For these groups of people, their purchasing power is still there. I have no idea how much they are affected by pandemic, but obviously it's not much because they still want these items. For people who are relatively lower income, then their purchasing power is greatly impacted by pandemic, or actually for some countries that they have been experiencing a negative growth or a flat growth for years. So I don't think this kind of purchasing power dropping is a recent issue.
Got it. Insightful. The next one. People who work in the high-end luxury sector get paid equally high-end compensations.
Depends. It's true for some companies and for some positions. It's not that fancy for junior people. So the pay, how much you are paid, is purely depending on what kind of positions you are holding within the company. Say in recent years and in China, marketing people's pay is growing very fast. One of the reasons behind is because marketing is playing more and more important role in China. I mean, in general, marketing is an important role for many industries, right? But especially in China, marketing is more and more important in recent years, and that's why marketing people are paid better and better. So see, this is a trend within the industry, and this will affect how much you're paid. And a second factor would be if you are a junior manager, junior people joining the industry, you wouldn't be paid as high as finance or consulting. So your pay is growing as you are proceeding in the industry, in the organization. If you are a management person, especially top management person, then the pay is pretty good. It's comparable to other industries.
So now that we have cleared the air, Cici, let's talk a bit more. What are the different career tracks an individual can explore in this sector?
Oh, that's an interesting question. As I know from my friends in like tech or in engineering, they tend to have a clearer career path, which is well set when they just join the industry. Say my engineer friend know what she gonna do in a few years. She need a certificate. She gonna take a master degree. So it's much clearer. For people in my industry, it's not that clear because you can change functions. Say you can actually cross functions from marketing to merchandising. This is not that common, but it could be from retail operations to marketing or to merchandising. So I think it's actually depends on what kind of skills you have and what's your interests. There are a lot of opportunities within the company, but you really need to fight for it. You need to demonstrate what kind of skills that you have that matches with the position that requires. So I wouldn't say the career path in this sector is fixed or is that clear. So for an individual, you need to figure out what is your career path, what do you want to create in this industry, what kind of role makes you happy to stay in the industry, because not every function that you would be happy to working in, and you wouldn't actually stay long if you are in a position that you don't like. So I would recommend people who wants to join the industry to think clearly what kind of strengths you have and to match with the roles that you are interested in. Say if a role requires you to have a strong fashion sense and you happen to have this kind of feature, and you can show your fashion sense when you're in an interview or in your dress code, then it's a big plus. But if you don't have this kind of talent or taste or whatever, better to start with an easier position like marketing or store operations. Why store operations is a good role to start with? Because you work in stores. You got to touch with the customers and the products. So it's actually easier for people to develop a deeper understanding of the products of the industry in a short period of time.
That's a really good advice that you just gave us. Cici, you talked about fashion sense and you mentioned that to be a trait. So my next question is leading on to that. What are the core skill sets an individual can develop to succeed in retail and luxury?
Well, being flexible is one of the most important traits, I would say. Why? Because RCLG industry, like it's as long as it's retail oriented, it changes so rapidly. Every day you're gonna have unexpected problems from different ends of the supply chains. Say we're gonna have surprising news from stores. We're gonna have customer complaints, product quality issues from factories, delays from logistic teams. So every day you have all these kind of unexpected things. You're gonna deal with that. So one thing you have to be well prepared is being flexible and don't complain too much, because this is so normal in the industry. You cannot plan everything, though you've made a perfect plan, but things won't go exactly as what you have planned. So be calm, be flexible. That's very important traits. The second skill sets, I would say it would be communication skills. Because so for me, I was working in merchandising team, and I need to work with 9 teams within the company. So that requires a lot of communications across different teams. different functions. That is to say, if you have better communication skills or negotiation skills, this is going to give you a lot of opportunities and rooms to work on, to turn around. If you can't work with people well, then you will have difficulties to be performing in the industry.
Got it. So you talked about the skills. Could you tell us some of the challenges that you faced while you were advancing in your career, and how did you overcome them?
Right. There were many difficulties I've experienced. First is when I was joining the industry, though actually I was well trained during college, right? I was taking a fashion textile scheme in college, but after graduation, I realized what I have learned during my university is not exactly how this industry is working. There is a gap. So I guess for every industry, this kind of gap could exist, right? For my industry, yeah, because the industry is changing so fast. So I think at the beginning, you're going to need some time to learn more about this industry and to get used to the communication style that people hold in this industry. Communication style is actually a bit different for this industry compared to other industries. I'm saying this because I'm comparing the communication style in my industry to the communication style in my friend's industry. So there is a difference in terms of what you say and how you say it. Yeah, people in this industry might not be that direct compared to engineers, because I've heard some stories from engineering field, and I can't imagine that this kind of thing could happen in my industry. So yeah, there's difference. Another difficulty I've experienced is working with other teams. Say you have no rights to choose who you are working with. And given the job function I'm holding in my previous companies, I'm the merchandising team. So we work with so many teams, and definitely there will be people or teams that you do not really work well at the beginning. So it is very important you decide what to do, how you respond to people, because some people are not that nice at the beginning because they don't know you. They have no idea what kind of people you are. So it's gonna take you some time to demonstrate what kind of people you are, to gain trust from other teams. I have no idea how other industries is working, but based on my understanding, as long as you are working with people, it is very important to gain trust from them, because with the trust, they will give you some flexibility, and also they give you more time, if possible, for you to turn around. Without trust, things are harder.
Got it.
Yeah. And well, I want to add one thing.
Yes, please.
Because actually there was a period that I couldn't get along with one of a team member from other teams, right? And we just couldn't communicate well. And she has her preferred working style, and I have my preferred working styles. And the reason we have such a big gap in terms of what we should do is because she was transferred. She was actually working in the US before, and then she was transferred to Asia Pacific. The way that we operate in Asia Pacific is totally different from the way that we operate in either US or Europe. The reason behind is that we have so many countries in Asia Pacific, and there are so many boundaries between the countries, among the countries in Asia Pacific, right? In America, products are easily transferred from US to Canada. In Europe, basically, products are actually very easy to be crossing boundaries. There are no boundaries, right? You can actually transfer one item from Italy to Spain. This is not happening in Asia Pacific. We are not so flexible to moving products around, and that's why we have to plan ahead. And because of those custom issues exist in Asia Pacific, we have to plan long time beforehand. That is to say, our lead time is longer. So what she believes could work is actually not working in Asia Pacific. So that's why we couldn't actually working on the same page at the beginning. So what I did is to invite her boss, my boss, and we two sitting together to discuss the beliefs that we should be holding. She believes this is working. I'm telling her this is not working, and she didn't really believe me. So we four sitting together, and I say, okay, this is how Asia Pacific is working. If you don't agree, please point out, and then we can see if your ways of working is actually feasible here. And so she would talk about what she believes is working because she is working in the US. And then we talk about it, and she then realized, okay, this is not working in Asia Pacific because of this different issues exist in Asia Pacific. So I think communication and also be brave, because this is not a comfortable conversation. Definitely not. It's the hardest conversation I've ever had, but it is a must to do. For me, it is a must to do because at least we can correct our understandings of each other, and we can put ourselves on the same page. That's the basic of working together in the future.
So Cici, that was a really, really raw and really great anecdote and example that you brought out. You talked about diversity and communication and how those things are so important. My next question is about the INSEAD MBA advantage, and I think it directly connects with the MBA, with the INSEAD MBA, where you get to meet so many people from different nationalities. So yes, so that brings me to this question. So that could you please describe to us the INSEAD MBA advantage for an MBA candidate interested in this sector?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first and biggest advantage for people outside of the industry and want to join the industry, MBA is a valuable experience. First, for people, for companies in my industry, they wouldn't actually invite people from other fields. They wouldn't actively invite people from other industries to join the industry, right? So if you are holding an MBA and also the school is actually offering many opportunities to you, then it gives you an easier start. And I think the good news is that more and more RCLG companies are interested to explore talents from MBA. Say the luxury forum mentioned by Suganda. I didn't actually investigate how many years this forum is lasting, but I believe there are quite a number of years that INSEAD is holding the forum. So it's very user friendly, I would say, because every company gonna introduce their company background, talents they're looking for. Of course, there are rooms to be improving. Say how to connect students with the companies. So when the company is introducing their company profiles, their interested talents, how to make students actually find a point to start the conversation with those companies. Because I understand from for people from an outsider view, it's actually hard to ask the right questions. Say, I'm interested in a role, a marketing role or a logistic role. What kind of skill sets I need? Or where should I start? Say, I'm an MBA student. Should I start from a very junior position? Am I satisfied of starting from a junior position? That is another question, right? Even if the company is offering opportunities, it doesn't mean that you would be perfectly happy with the roles you're offering. So I think the best important thing is to talk to those companies, because you have no idea that what they are looking for on you, right? What kind of skills or what kind of personal characters that they value most. So start a conversation first, because it's much easier for you to be connecting with those companies during INSEAD journey. It's not that easy for you to open a conversation with so many companies at a time after graduation. And INSEAD is actually working hard to get people into this industry. So I remember the year I was in Fontainebleau, the school actually invited several companies in this industry to have a forum in Fontainebleau. That is to say, if you are curious about the industry, then join the forum. You will learn much about the industry, and you can evaluate whether you are a good fit for this industry or not. It's better for you to evaluate it before you join, because you cannot actually work with your imagination. And this industry is actually not what it looks like from an outsider view. So I highly recommend people who are in Fontainebleau to join the forum. And last year, I remember that INSEAD actually invites Louis Vuitton, LVMH Group, Kering Group, PVH Group, Estee Lauder Group, L'Oreal. Yeah, I think L'Oreal was there. So it actually covers quite a number of big groups in the industry already. It's definitely the best chance, I would say.
Got it. Perfect. So, Cici, that's the end of the questions that we had for you. However, it would be a wasted opportunity if we let you go without asking some burning fashion questions. I'm sure that there will be a bunch of ladies in the upcoming classes who would be furious with me. And I know this because we have a group and we have been, for the last couple of we've been going mad discussing about MBA fashion and how do we plan our shopping and how much can we fit in our luggage. So we have these few questions for you, and whenever you're ready, we would love to ask you these.
Cool. So what's the first question?
Are you a minimalist or a maximalist?
Nice. I would say I'm close to a minimalist now, but I was kind of a maximalist a few years ago, because working in industry is a quite fancy experience, and there is great exposure for you to experience different kinds of products and fashion items. So at the beginning, usually, because of the great exposure, you could be interested in so many stuff and you want to have them all. So there's certainly a period of time that you could be a maximalist. Say when you're young, when you have no idea what makes you look good, and most likely you will have this period of time that you want to buy so many stuff and you have so many stuff in your wardrobe. So it's normal. Don't be nervous. I guess people in my industry, everyone, each of us had this kind of period. So be calm. This kind of period could be fading out in a few years. Depends. Still, I see my colleagues, right? Some of them are still so fantastic. What kind of word I should use to describe them? I mean, the fever is going so well on them, and it lost so many years. So for different people, this kind of interest or a minimalist trend could last in you for a different period of time. So be prepared if you would join the industry. But for me personally, I'm close to a minimalist now, because I've tried so many styles, I've tried so many products, and I've had so many great items already. Then I'm more relaxed. I wouldn't pick every fashionable items that is offered within the company or from other companies. So I know what I love. I know what makes me look good. So my shopping experience will be more targeted I would directly go to certain brands to pick what I need.
Got it. What's your favorite product Burberry makes?
There are many, like winter coats, cashmere scarves, some of the dresses. Burberry offers nice cashmere products. I highly recommend its ponchos, coats, and scarves. Just go to the store and feel the textures. You're gonna love it. And for scarves, actually, Burberry offers the service of embroidery of your initials. You can actually have your initials on your scarf, and you can also make a scarf for your friends or your loved ones with their initials. It would be a very sweet present. Oh, by the way, Burberry beauty products are pretty good, though not too many people are aware of it. Because I've heard from my friends say, "Really, Burberry is offering beauty products? I have no idea." Yeah, they do. The reason that Burberry products wasn't doing that many marketing activities was because beauty products was operated by Burberry itself in the past few years, and because we actually spend much more time on fashion clothes. I mean, we don't really have that much time to spend on beauty products. That's why it is not as famous as like Gucci, Chanel. But later on, there will be more marketing activities because there's a contract signed on between Burberry and a very professional beauty group. So we'll see.
Perfect. Very excited for that then. Any styling tip that you could give to our MBA students that could be a lifesaver?
Cool. I know some of the MBA students are actually fashionista. For this group of people, I don't have any tips because you guys know perfectly how to do styling. For people who are not a snappy dresser, then I have some tips. So the first one I would go with is to find your color tone. Each of us have a unique color tone that would fit us best. For example, some colors make your eyes look brighter. Some colors make your skin look more lively. You need to try different colors and see what works best on you. It's very important to find your favorite colors. No, well, I should actually differentiate between your favorite colors and your best fit colors. It's different. So your best colors may not make you look better. So find the colors that works best on you. And later on, when you go shopping, you know which color you should be focusing on, right? Second, find your favorite style. I noticed that many people tend to work around several styles that they are comfortable with since high school. They don't change much across years. You see, I have a friend. I've been friends with her for over 20 years. Her dressing style in leisure days didn't change much from high school. It was very surprising for me, right? There are definitely this kind of people. So for me, I would recommend this kind of people to try new styles, taking advices from your friends who have a nicer taste, or from a more professional person like stylists or salespeople in luxury brands or other nice brands, etc. Because they could give you advices from a more professional perspective. And do not reject them immediately because you have the right to choose whether you buy or not, right? But try it. This won't cost you anything but time. Yeah, try until you find the best styles. Then buy it.
Sounds great. Our last question is about wardrobe organization because, as INSEAD MBA...
Oh, sorry, I want to add one thing more. Sorry. I want to add one thing more. Yeah. Buy and only buy your favorite ones. Because I find some people tend to pick their second favorite items when they are shopping. Yeah, it's very surprising me, but yeah, some of people are doing this. They give you reasons like, this item goes better with what I have now. It's more practical. It gives you more value of the price. But don't do this anymore, because this kind of choices you made actually create a sense of unworthiness.
Wow. So of course, with INSEAD, the fact that we move across campuses and exchange a lot, we travel a lot, so we travel light. And it is so important for us to be organized and to be on top of a game at all times. Any wardrobe organization tips that you have for us? I know we all could really use them.
Right. Well, my tips won't be exactly for MBA students. It's quite general. I would say 2 words: be rational, but be bold.
Okay.
Why I say so? For the reason for me to say be rational, because I see so many people are organizing their wardrobe like from an instinct, intuition. Well, I'm not saying this is not good. It's good because I've mentioned that choose your favorite one. So it's right. It's an emotional choice to some extent. But the reason to be rational is you need to have a framework to work on. So build your framework. Well, people in INSEAD love the word of framework. Yeah, I would recommend when you are organizing your wardrobe, have a framework. What's the framework? Say you work 5 days a week. You have a 2-day weekend. And you go to gym 3 days a week. Then basically you need at least 50% of workwear, 20% of casual wear, 30% of sportswear. Of course, you can edit this ratio a little bit because the percentage or the ratio is actually depending on your laundry frequency as well. But it's a basic framework, and you will know what you should be buying based on this framework. And second, build a wardrobe of 70, well, this is roughly percentage, 70% of basic colors. What's the basic colors? Black, white, gray, brown, navy, blue for shirts, etc. And 30% of the novelty colors. What's novelty colors? I would just say pink, red, purple, yellow, green, and so on. So the reason for you to have some novelty colors is because you're going to have some occasions that you want to be more visible in the crowd. Basic colors, black, white, gray, brown, navy, etc. They won't make you outstanding in the crowd. So you need some novelty colors, especially for girls. You have occasions like your friend's wedding, right? Or yes, or high tables, or the anniversaries, etc. So if your wardrobe is comprised of all the basic colors, it's not exciting at all. Every day you open your wardrobe, you feel like every day is the same. This is not a good sign. You have to cheer yourself up with those novelty colors. It's not only applying to clothes, it's actually applying to your shoes as well. You know, I have my high heels is actually rainbow colors. Yeah, I found it, yeah, especially when it's not so feasible for you to be dressing too fancier in your industry, then a light color shoe might be lighting up your day.
That's really good advice. In fact, Cici, the kind of advice that you've given us, I'm very sure by the end of this video, our audience is going to be like researching every single tiny tip that you've given, and they'll be trying to apply it in their own lives. So thank you so much for that. And in terms of our section, in terms of this interview, it's a wrap. Thank you so much, Cici, for chatting with us today. You have given us such sound and pragmatic advice. And I'm very sure that people who are listening to us will be highly benefited from it.
You're
Um,
welcome. I'm so happy to contribute a little
Thank
bit.
you, Cici, and thank you everyone for joining in. We hope you like this episode. If you have any recommendations or suggestions, what we could cover next, please let us know in the comment section. And as the tradition goes, please subscribe to our channel and like and share this video with whoever you feel would benefit from this.